Oh, hey guys, I'm sitting here in Dayton. You can see my unmade bed in the background. I got this mask in the mail from my sister, and uh, I assumed she was maybe trying to send me a hint to get a new mask. Turns out it's a theater guild in Schweinfurt, Germany, made it. My my niece had lived there with as a foreign exchange student in high school, and her host family sent some to my sister. And my sister sent one to me, so there's a little bit of story to it. I was driving, it took a long time due to the weather, and from West Virginia. I listened to some podcasts, and I think I figured something out about Clarksburg and something I've always heard and why you don't ever see too many houses flipped and resold there. Now, to get to that, I need to give you a little history lesson. Let me drink some coffee here. For most of American history, there was no zoning. You just build wherever you want to, whatever you want to, wherever you want to. Now, the Spanish Empire did have some rudimentary zoning, even back in the 1700s, but not in the United States. In 1916, New York City started to implement it, and it spread around. By 1924, you had Euclid, or Ambler versus Euclid, a landmark case which established the legality of zoning as part of a police power delegated to the states. Because most houses were built pre-automobile, and zoning came about in part to accommodate the automobile, and in part to remediate some of the spread of disease in the rapidly growing, industrial cities. They allowed for variances of older houses built, before 1900, 1910, but insisted that new single-family homes, at least, would have adequate parking and, setbacks, things of that nature. But the question arose is, if you had a variance, could you add on to that house, an old house? And the Supreme Court said yes, you could. If you wanted to add a garage, or you had your family grew and you wanted to add a couple bedrooms, you could add on to your house a modification. But to prevent people from buying an old shack and building an apartment building around it, calling it a modification, they had to draw a line somewhere. And they said that if the value of the modification exceeds the value of the house, then you can't do it. It's it's considered a new use, and it has to go through the zone process again. Now, Clarksburg applied this to building code. For example, if I bought a $30,000 house off an old widow woman, and I wanted to put 50 into it and flip it and sell it for 100 or 120, I wouldn't be allowed to do that, because they'd say the value of the remodel exceeded the value of the house. Well, that wasn't what the court was trying to say. The court was trying to say that a new use, as in, you're changing a zoning or a new use of the property, wasn't allowed. But, a repair and any amount of money it's not even applicable in that situation. But they created an environment in Clarksburg where, you couldn't flip houses, so there was no remodeling. And also, if your house got run down and needed repairs, you might not be allowed to do it, because, the value of the repairs might exceed the value of the house. And so this is just a recipe for decay. The kind of decay that we see now is really setting in bad. It's caused by zoning ordinance, misapplication of zoning ordinances. And also, they ran it through Board of Code Appeals rather than zoning appeals. And the Board of Code Appeals was illegally constituted of 3 rather than 5 members. I don't know whether this was done entirely intentionally or out of ignorance or whatever, but it is where we're at today. And, it's one of the things we need to change if we want to see Clarksburg come back. I'll holler at you later.